going on, everybody? It's your man Cleveland Terry, and today we're going to talk about something that's probably going to piss you off a little bit. We're going to talk about open format DJing. More importantly, the truth about open format DJing and why a lot of you are not really open format DJs. Let's talk about it. Here's the truth. A lot of you guys aren't really open format DJs. I mean, yes, you play different genres, different kinds of music at any given point of the night, but that doesn't make you an open format DJ. Confused? Now, we all have a musical home base, so to speak, a place that we just feel more comfortable in. Like for me, it's gonna be old school hip hop. I can fly through that without question. But that's way different than moving from genre to genre in an open format setting. I mean, open format does mean that yes, you play different types of music, but that's the basic definition of an open format DJ. A real open format DJ not only plays different kinds of music, but plays it in a way that the transition and the vibe remains consistent throughout the night. It can mean a lot of different things, but the most important part is the vibe. Open format DJing is and always will be about the vibe. Now, on a side note, open format can also mean that you go and play a hip hop club and you kill that, and then you go to an EDM club and then you kill that also. That's another definition of an open format DJ, but that's not what the masses know that open format means. Moving from genre to genre is actually a very difficult skill to master, and there's a lot of people that still don't have this skill mastered. I mean, in some cases, open format means that somebody's gonna play Cardi B, I Like It, and then move into It Takes Two by Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. Yes, you are playing two different songs, but those songs don't go well together. Those songs have completely different vibes and completely different souls to them. That's not the way you call yourself an open format DJ. Open format is gonna allow you to lead a song. So you play a song. That next song should transition smoothly, vibe musically. Musicality is really important. All of these things should flow together. You shouldn't have knee-jerk reactions unless it's something that you intended to do in the first place. But a lot of people are not doing it on purpose. It's because the flow is so bad that it's just jarring to people. So we want to avoid that in open format DJing. For example, if you were going to play a song like AC/DC's Shook Me All Night, the next song you transition in should be something that has assets similar to that song. Your next song might be Tricky by Run DMC. It might be Wild Thing by Tone Loc. You can even get more creative and go with I Love It by Iconopop, because it still has that kind of rock vibe to it with those kind of really, really distorted bass lines. That's the kind of stuff that you can transition into. I wouldn't play Flow Riders low if I was transitioning from AC/DC. I would play In the Air because it has that kind of rock vibe. Do you understand what I'm saying? The energies should match, and you don't want your crowd feeling that bad energy while you're transitioning from one song to the next. You should be taking them up steps, up the levels, up the journey. You should be going upwards, not downwards, or not having to restart because a bad transition screwed you up or the vibe changed so much that people were like, I don't know how to feel right now. So that's what I have noticed, especially because there are so many DJs on Twitch. There's fantastic DJs, there's okay DJs, there's some bad DJs. You know, that's going to happen no matter what profession you're in. You're gonna have some good ones, some bad ones, and right in the middle, it's pretty much where everybody else sits. Now, I've seen several DJs just make what I would call questionable choices. If you're sitting in a room by yourself and you decide to make that choice, you don't see the impact of how that choice would be on your dance floor. You're just like, okay, it works, I'm good, let me go. But if you were in a dance floor scenario, that would clear the floor. So I'm trying to have you remember that even the stuff that you're doing by yourself in the comfort of your own home, just for you, still has to make sense. You know, there's a saying that goes, you should practice how you are going to perform, because all those practice days are going to flow into your performance. You want to make sure that when you're practicing exactly at the level that you would on a performance. It should be with the idea that at one point, at someday, you are going to perform. That's really, really important. Remember that, that's pro tip. So it occurred to me, open format DJing. For a lot of you, it's not a skill set. It's a crutch. It's a band-aid to mask some of the weaknesses that you have in your DJ skills. Like maybe you did a party and the client sent you a request list and you played them on that party and the crowd went off. So you threw them in a folder called heaters and now you know that those songs work, but they don't necessarily work for everybody. They might have only worked for that crowd, but you have them in a folder now and you're like a paper boy, just kind of throwing papers everywhere you want. Just here's a song, let's see if it works, but you don't really care where it lands. You don't care that it just landed in the gutter or the wet grass. You just know that my job is to play the songs, so here you go. And then you just keep on moving. Meanwhile, the people in that house look around like, what the f***? Like, you just threw that right there? Like, you didn't even think about it? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you throw that right there? You should have thrown that over here. It makes more sense over here. You get it? Now, by no means do I consider myself the best DJ. I know my strengths and my weaknesses. That's one of the strengths that I have, is I know what my weaknesses are. And I try to improve my weaknesses every day. But my strengths have always been my ability to understand music, to retain a musical knowledge of all the music that I've played. So I can play music from the 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way up until now, and I know what song will work and what won't work in my transitions because I know my music. I know when the beat comes in. I know when that bass line goes. I know when the acapella kicks in. Even when I'm transitioning from song to song, I can make it clean because I understand my music. So when I'm playing stuff, if I'm playing an Afrobeat song, the next song I'm gonna go into is not gonna be some strange classic rock song because that flow is weird. But I can go from Afrobeats to some Latin, to reggae, to hip hop, anything that has a little bit more of a swing beat into it. I can transition from one point to the next seamlessly. And then if I wanna go into a harder vibe, then I pick a song that has harder vibe assets. Not a harder vibe, but just slight assets that will allow me to go to it. For instance, I was playing hip hop. I wanted to transition into something harder, to some rock stuff. I'm not just gonna go there. So if I'm playing a hip hop track, perfect example. Nookie starts off with a very basic bass line, but the bass line's driving it. The rock part doesn't come in until later. So during the transition, you're not being hit and bombarded with, I'm changing the music. It's going to flow better. And that's the key. You wanna make sure that you're not scaring your crowd off the dance floor. Bam! And hard transitions can kill your vibe. Now, there is a place for hard transitions. I mean, New York has been doing it all the time, but even New York is not dropping one song and dropping a completely different vibe the next. They're just dropping the same vibe on the ones every single time. But the vibe remains the same. I mean, it'd be the same thing as if you were playing some 130 beats per minute track and then you dropped to 100 beats per minute track. And you had no transition, you had no beat breakdown, you literally just played the next track. That's weird. That's gonna feel jarring to the people on the dance floor, and they're gonna stop and go, wait, what just happened? What am I supposed to be doing right now? Oh, we're playing hip hop now? Okay, fine. Give me a minute to like get my bearings right and then we'll go to hip hop. But it's gotta make sense. It has to make sense. Throw an echo out. Get on the microphone. Tell them you're changing it. Do something besides just saying, I'm going from genre to genre and I'm just gonna blindside you. We don't want blindsiding. So the more, why do I keep saying mo? So the more you know your music, the better you're going to be as a DJ playing open format music. From this point on, when you're thinking about playing from genre to genre, you're going to remember that vibe is more important than the song you're transitioning to. You need to be thinking from now on, when you're going into the next track, does this vibe work with the song I'm playing? Because if it doesn't work, you should not be playing it. If you're playing disco and you want to go back to contemporary, you're not going to play some, shake your groove thing into something that doesn't make sense. Maybe you would. But what I would do is if I wanted to get to something more contemporary, I'm going to play some new disco track. I'm going to play Moves Like Jagger, something that has a disco style vibe. That way, people now know that we are back into the current period, and then I can start to modify and go to other things. But you have to remember, the vibe is the most important part. Without vibe, there's no DJing. In fact, I'm gonna stop calling it open format. I'm gonna call it open vibe. Open vibe is the most important part, guys. All right, guys, hopefully you found this useful. If you found it useful, hit that like button. If you found it really useful, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow me on the Instagrams and the Twitters. Guys, always a pleasure, always a pleasure. If I don't talk to you later, we'll talk soon. Peace.